In a peaceful village, life moved quietly, untouched by chaos. But suddenly, flames erupted as a fire monster appeared, destroying everything in its path. Homes burned, and fear spread through the air. Just as all hope seemed lost, a lone warrior stepped forward, standing firm against the raging beast.
After a fierce battle in a burning village, the warrior collapsed, his body broken and weak. The river carried him away, drifting through the wilderness for days. Far downstream, a kind farmer spotted the warrior caught in the river's edge. Without hesitation, he pulled him out and brought him home on his cart. At the farmer's small house, he and his wife worked to heal the warrior, caring for him until he regained his strength. But one day, their baby fell seriously ill. Desperate to save the child, the farmer told the warrior about the god tree, hidden deep in the forest. Its leaves, he explained, could cure any sickness. Grateful for the family's kindness, the warrior offered to help. With his sword in hand, he set out to find the sacred tree.
After a long journey, the warrior returned with the sacred leaves of the god tree. But as he stepped into the house, a terrible sight awaited him. The farmer and his wife lay lifeless, and the baby was nowhere to be found. Far to the north, a mighty king ruled over a thriving kingdom. But his peace was broken when a witch cursed the queen and their daughter, leaving them gravely ill. The king, desperate and unable to help, was approached by the witch once more. She whispered of a baby in the south and demanded the king kill the family and bring her the child for a ritual in her crystal cave. In return, she promised to lift the curse. And the king left the kingdom to find them. The king entered the farmer's house with cold determination. Without hesitation, he struck down the farmer and his wife, leaving them lifeless. Taking the baby in his arms, he turned and walked away, his steps heavy with the weight of his choice. The warrior knelt in sorrow between the lifeless bodies of the farmer and his wife. In his final breath, the farmer whispered a plea, begging the warrior to save his baby from the northern king. Grief turned to resolve as the warrior rose, vowing revenge. After a long journey, he stood atop a cliff, gazing down at the vast northern kingdom. Determined, he approached the gates, only to find the king's general waiting to confront him. The warrior stormed into the grand palace hall, his anger unrelenting. In a blind fury, he struck down the queen and the daughter, their cries echoing through the chambers. Then, a Amidst the silence, he stood still, his blade ready, waiting for the king to arrive. The king entered the witch's lair, the baby cradled in his arms. As he approached the witch, guilt weighed heavily on his heart. The faces of the innocent lives he had taken flashed before him, and he hesitated. Refusing to hand over the child, he turned away, but his defiance enraged the witch. With a furious scream, she transformed into a monstrous creature, her true form revealed. After a fierce battle, the king slew the witch and emerged from the cave, weary and broken. Returning to his palace, he was met with a devastating sight. His wife and daughter lay lifeless before him. Overcome with grief, he collapsed in anguish. As his sorrow filled the hall, the warrior entered, his voice cold and resolute. "I have come for you," he declared. The king, rising slowly, met his gaze and replied with a bitter edge, "You shouldn't have." After defeating the warrior, the king stood over him, breathing heavily. He took the baby in his arms, filled with regret for everything that had happened. With a soft vow, he promised to care for the child, hoping to find some peace and redemption in the kingdom he had once ruled. The warrior defeated the king, ending his reign. In the quiet of the hall, he picked up the baby, the innocent life he had fought to protect. Without a word, the warrior left the kingdom, carrying sorrow and the hope of redemption on his journey.